Hey everybody, welcome back to Croissant Wrench. The video you're about to watch is very old footage and the intro is cut off because we've had to rename this channel a couple times. I know that's really annoying to see this channel with a different name like every 3 days, but we've had underlying issues with some of the other names that we've used, so we've found those and looked around for different options, and Croissant Wrench seems to be one that we're going to stick with because, well, me and my buddies have a good story to a degree. It's kind of good to go behind it. So hopefully you enjoy the video you're about to watch. The editing isn't the best, and I lost some footage while I was filming, so it's what it is. I'm going to upload it, and I hope you all enjoy it. Here it is. Supposedly this machine is blown up, and we're going to find out today if it is, and if it's not, will it run? And I'm not going to lie to you, I've dug into it a little bit because it wouldn't make a really interesting video to just open it up and go, oh look, it's got an exploded piston, we're not doing anything today. So no, it's not blown up, and we're going to see if this thing will fire up. Here's what we're working with. I've already got the head off the old girl, and we're definitely not on the exhaust stroke right now. In fact, we're nowhere near. That was supposed to be the exhaust stroke. Seems to be a little issue with the exhaust valve. So what we're going to do today is try to show my really rednecky, not the best in the world way of getting that freed up. And it involves 3 items. Heat, liquid wrench, and a hammer. Unfortunately, just throwing them all at it doesn't seem to have fixed the problem. Now usually with the right application, each of these 3 tools will solve just about any issue with a stuck valve. The unfortunate thing is, I don't know the right way, so we're just going to apply them in a certain order and we're going to see exactly what happens, starting with a little bit of heat. I don't want to have to take the carburetor off to get to the valve cover on this thing, and I want to try to be lazy and just get lucky, and that's what we're going to try first. First things first, we're just going to get the old girl just glowing for it. I already watched the heat coming out of the metal here. And I'm hoping that there's just a rust ridge on the inside of this that I can heat up and hit with that oil and help to knock it off a little bit. I don't want to set the whole thing on fire, but I just want to get enough heat in it to where I won't necessarily warp it, which I could do in this, but I won't also just sit here struggling with it forever and hit it with a hammer and crack it, which I also could do in this. I'm already seeing the carbon on the piston, which is actually really clean, one of the cleanest ones of these I've ever seen. It's already starting to turn back into oil and dinosaurs and whatever it's made of. So I'm going to cut this here. And go ahead and hit it up with a little bit of this penetrating oil. I don't know how good it is. I accidentally superheated the can, apparently. Ooh, you're cooking. That's what we want out of you. This thing's going to smoke so bad. Oh, wow, that's a lot of smoke. Don't worry about it. Breathing, it's good for you. I'm glad I got plenty of fans ventilating this place today, if you can't already hear them. There's even smoke coming out of the muffler now. So now that we're at this point, I'm hoping I can just take this old hammer here, make sure we're definitely really good and far away from the exhaust stroke so I don't whack the lifter, which means somewhere right about there. And it is moving. And that's seated. Let's see if it'll keep working. That's open, and it's still stuck. Keep doing that. It's already getting a bit looser. Add a little more oil. This can's almost gone. And just keep working that poor, now glowing valve until we get where we want to be. That is now functioning as it should. There's just a little bit of stickiness still in it, but I'm sure the first time it gets a good oiling, it'll be good. Now, I might have just hurt the valve seal quite a bit, but I don't think these have rubber valve seals. I've been in them a couple times, I don't remember for sure. But I don't think these actually have the rubber valve seals. So I don't think we're going to hurt anything here. We may have scored them a little bit, but I've never had one of these that didn't smoke or have a leaky carburetor or burn lots of oil anyway, so we'll just roll with it. And now that we've got that freed up, I'll go ahead and show you all why this tractor specifically, when it runs now, is an absolute gem for 25 bucks at auction. Also, say hello to the $15 Dingus tripod you all have been living in. That's worth almost as much as the tractor. But here's why this is pretty important for a 990 guy like myself. Original muffler. Also has the original heat shield. It's off because the head's off. The paint is not amazing, but it's not bad. The decals are still in pretty good shape. Still got the hood prop. These are cast. They break right here. I think most of the ones I have now have them, actually. Still has the cap down here. And here's the rarest bit. Not only does it have the guard, it has the auto return spring. I didn't even know these existed until I got this tractor, and I looked at my other ones, and I realized that there's supposed to be that spring there. I'm really scared of breaking this, and this tractor really probably won't get out much. It's also got all the original guards. All the original safety switches are still there, like that one, and wired in. The only thing this tractor's missing is the original toolbox, of which I have two, and one of them's on a tractor that's pretty ugly with a failing hydro. It still gets used as a winter beater, but I don't think it quite deserves a toolbox when there's one like this hanging around. So what we'll do next, we're going to keep letting this cool, and then I'll come back to you all when we start throwing the head back on this thing, and we'll see if we can get her to pop off today. That's going to be a lot of work. Now, I'll be the first to admit I did not expect to blow that much heat into that exhaust valve that quickly. Wasn't actually on purpose, but it seems to have worked. I'm just going to make sure this thing isn't glowing. Seems to have cooled down to a balmy 90 degrees, so I think we're safe to throw the head on. Which brings me to the next clue on why I think this machine has hardly even been run. This is the original head gasket. It didn't tear at all when it came off. It looks absolutely perfect. So, knowing that, we're going to just right back on there and run her again. Make sure I got it in the right orientation, of course. That'd be the dumbest mistake yet. So now that that's on, we're just going to reach over here and grab the head. See if I can get it under here without jacking up my gasket alignment. Gently. So now we should just be able to, now that we got one bolt in, look at this thing around, get one or two bolts in it, and then all of them should begin to thread. It's not really the correct way. Most people will put the gasket on the head first, but my method's never really failed me, and I have never messed up a gasket doing it. Quick, where's some wood to knock on? I don't have any, alright, we're just going to go on luck here. So far I haven't gacked anything out. Oh, also, since I just dropped it, I'll show you this. This is a nifty thing that came with that tripod. It's a little camera remote, and it actually works with every app on this phone. So, didn't know those existed. I guess that's my first step to doing the YouTubes, is learning about things I didn't know about. And I can't imagine why, but for some reason, all the tools to put this together are already here. It's almost like I just took it apart or something. Such a weird coincidence. And I'm just going to run all of these down to where they're just barely seated, and then I'll come back through and hit them all in kind of a cross pattern to make sure we don't hurt or warp anything. That's probably about 15 to 20. I know I got all the three in the front, so I'm going to go around and just double check all of these. Make sure I didn't miss anything. That one was a little loose, actually. Yep, missed that one. Bring our tray of goodies up here. I definitely remember where all these went. I think this one was a shroud bolt. And the thing about Briggs & Strattons, I've also heard this said about small block Chevys, but I haven't owned one, so I can't verify. You can take this entire engine apart, save for like 2 or 3 fasteners, with a 9/16, a ½ inch, and a 7/16. Now here's the part where I do the big reveal. Original heat shield. Looks fantastic. Alright, so that's the difficult engine assembly, really easy actually if you think about it, part of the program. All complete, and now the view you have is really boring. So what we're going to do is something, yeah. So now we're going to move on to what I think is the obvious next step, which is fuel carbonator. It doesn't really do the whole air in, fuel in, mixy, bang, bang. In fact, I don't even know if it does the bang, bang yet, because I've never tested for spark. But I know spark is easy to get out of these, and I think this one doesn't have the original magneto in it, because that's not the boot I'm used to seeing on these. That looks like an older boot. And it looks like it's been hacked on. But it's a Briggs & Stratton, so you never know. I can't see any signs of this tractor ever having been apart, considering the bottom of the grill has about that much gunk on it. I am terrible at getting my hand in the camera. So, you know, I don't think it's been apart, and I think it's just been left alone, which I'm really happy about. And I'm really happy that this isn't blown up, actually, because I really wanted to keep this an original. Had bigger plans, but when I saw how nice it was, I was like, I gotta keep this thing. So this is stiff. I have no idea if the choke moves. That's gonna be a no. I don't know if that's cable or carburetor. I haven't even looked down in there yet. Actually pretty clean. It also has a surprisingly nice air filter in it. Right here, and it had the original little cap and wing nut, and inside the filter isn't brown yet, so we're going to clean all the spider webs and stuff off this and run it. Yeah, even under the foam looks pretty good. So that's going to be our huckleberry for this machine. So what I'll do now is go throw all the proper tools your way, and we'll get this carburetor off of here. Incoming! That's a screwdriver. And those are pliers. That's all we're going to need. 2 screws here. And she'll loosen right on up. Oh, that came out really easy. Huh. Normally they tear. And all you really got left is a choke cable, which I'm looking at the camera to see if you can see. There's a choke cable right here, some governor linkage right here. And normally if you get a little twisty, you can just work that governor linkage out of there without even having to take the choke cable off. But in this case, I may not be so lucky. Oh, you still have the spring. First time I've seen that. Okay, let's stop prying on it. Oh, the choke is completely seized. I did not want to see that today. There we go. That is now out of the way, and hopefully now we can do our twisties on here, but I got to figure out how the spring comes off, and there's a lot of goo, so hopefully I can just like that. I can see what's going on in there. This is new territory for me. I've never seen this spring on these machines before. Alright, now that's out of the way, and then that just comes right off. I love how easy these are to get on and off. I'm hoping a little bit of cleaning over on the workbench, and this little carby is going to come back beautiful. Step 3 here will be cleaning the fuel tank. Somewhere below the fuel line that's coming out right about there. There's still not enough in it to make it come out of the line, so I'm going to back flush it. Oh, there's so much brown. I wish you could see it, but I'm now soaked in brake clean and don't want to touch the camera. Wow. That's impressively bad. Now I'm going to do the right thing and waste some fuel. I'm actually going to use some of my two-stroke and flush this tank out as soon as I dry this off. Well, there's a cut there. That burns. Woo-hoo. Did I get a splinter from a carburetor? No, no. Overreacting. This is not two-stroke. But it's too late. I already picked this one up. You doing the running out of the hose at a good pace yet? Yep. Perfect. Work this fuel valve in and out. Hopefully that'll clean it up. Do you stop the flow? Oh, like it's brand new. So I got bored and I went ahead and hooked up the battery to the main electrical, and that was not working properly. So now I got one that started directly, and we got lots of sparkies out of this. So I think we're close to getting it running. Real close. Might be as simple as putting the carburetor on and dumping fuel in it. I sure hope so. Wait a minute, the key's not on. How do we know? Now, that's not a grand sign. We shouldn't have sparked without the key on. But you know, there's other ways of killing these if they run away or whatever. So we're not going to worry about that. We're just going to see what we can do here. Now, after some careful digging, these take exactly 2 quarts. Found this really old one. I have no idea where it came from. I found this nice newer one. There were some shavings in the oil, but it also looked really old, so I'm just doubting it had been changed for a long time. Let's find out, shall we? Wait, that's not where that goes. That goes here. Yeah, and it's got a mouse nest in it, so I'm going to just throw the air filter on real quick. We're going to have to pull it apart and clean it out. But I am going to be able to get it up to an idle, hopefully. Well, now you saw what it took to get this tractor running. Now I should probably go over it with all the differences that have happened since I filmed that video. Firstly, you'll probably recognize these rear tires off of the machine that I filmed at first here. And that tractor ended up having a cracked frame, which gave me one of 2 options. I could either weld it and try to piece it back together the best I could, or decide to use it as a parts machine. And unfortunately, parts machine ended up being what it decided to be, because this tractor turned out to be way nicer. My twin swapped machine, which you haven't seen yet, is definitely nicer, and I put way more work into it. And the winter tractor is still plugging along pretty good. So that tractor is going to end up slowly donating pieces of parts over its years, but I'm going to keep it running and driving as long as possible. It'll be out and about. It'll just have flat tires, and it'll be dragging logs around whenever it can. But all my other tractors do all my work. Like this one, we've since put my tiller on it, and we put the PTO setup on this one. Because this already had the belts and everything, I didn't have to pull the engine and find springs and all that stuff. It had so many things that the other tractor just didn't have. And once I found out this one did run and would work, I decided just to make this one a little guy. So that's what's changed since that original video was filmed. We also went ahead and threw a WD-40 wax on this thing, just wiped it down. We power washed under the hood, which I'll show you in a second. Cleaned the whole tractor, and it looks wet because currently it's raining outside. It seems to be a common thing for my channel, but that's what it's doing. But even when it dries up, this tractor still looks very good for its age, especially having sat outside for who knows how long. And it runs better than pretty much all my other ones, even though it really didn't want to start this morning. But that was its first cold day. We'll get her on winter tune shortly. Now you all definitely saw how under this hood looked when we were originally putting the head and everything back on this machine. But look at how cleaned up. The tank's spotless, all the paint in here is still nice. I've missed this side of the hood, but you can't see that side of the hood, so it doesn't matter that much. Went ahead and wiped down the whole engine and everything, threw us a new battery in here, cleaned up some of the electrical system. It still isn't charging the battery, but everything's wired right, and the lights don't work. And I think that switch is wired wrong. But hey, that's how it works with these. You just have to keep plugging away at them and eventually get them where you need them to be. But this one currently just does dirt work. It tills, it plows, that's about it. And I'm actually pretty proud of this one. So, with that being said, thank you all so much for watching me revive yet another MTD 990. I'm really happy that you all stuck around for this. I'm happy to see the channel starting to grow a little bit. It really makes me feel good because I took this as a personal challenge to myself to see, hey, can I actually film something good? And no, I can't. But y'all seem to like it, and that's what makes me happy. So thanks again. Hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to like or subscribe or whatever if you want to. If you don't want to, that's fine. I'm not here to get just push for the subs and the likes and the comments. I mean, if you have something you want to leave in the comments section, I would be more than happy to read it, and I'll even respond. And if you want to subscribe, you want to see more of this, awesome. And I hope you enjoy what's coming on this channel. I have some different machines coming finally, and the next video will actually be on something quite a bit bigger. It doesn't fit in here too well, but you'll have to stay tuned for that. So I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. I'm going to go out here and get some work done.